of Brant is a new social media campaign, and I'm now joined by Sylvia Collins and Risha Burke. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for including us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So can you talk a little bit about what Humans of Brant is and how this project came to be?
Sylvia, do you want me to start or you want to start?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Well, there's a group of us who have been meeting for quite a long time with the whole thinking about asset-based community development. And so there's Sylvia is the chair of Homedale Neighborhood Association. We have other neighborhood association folks and the Brant County Health Unit and the library and Legal Clinic Grand River and ourselves at Community Living Brant and others have been involved in a sort of a journey on that. And then we were actually in the midst of planning for our third annual Assets-Based Community Development Symposium, and then we had COVID. So we kind of had to stop planning for that, but we didn't want to stop talking about ABCD, Assets-Based Community Development. And there became an opportunity for us to get involved with an international story platform that some community developers were developing. So to capture how people are coping, are becoming sort of embedded in being citizens, neighbors with each other during COVID, and how they're finding new ways of doing things. We had I brought that story platform idea and how we might use it in Brantford with our folks, and we had some really good conversations. And then it really evolved, I think, Sylvia, tell me if I'm capturing this well, into like what would be the mechanism for us to capture those stories? And we kind of we put a post up to say, hey, you got a story, and that kind of didn't work. And then we're like, we need another angle. And so we brainstormed and Humans of Brant as a vehicle to ask people some just simple questions to find out how they're living through the pandemic. What is going well, what's not going well, what are they learning? And we thought from there we would be able to craft some stories, thinking that if we don't take this moment in time to learn and reflect, then we might miss an opportunity. And then we're able to then share some of those stories up to that international platform. So it's still, we didn't drop that, but we just wanted to create a Brant-friendly kind of approach to what we were doing in terms of story collection.
And the hashtag is TogetherApart. So can you talk a little bit about the significance of that, Sylvia?
Well, we want to get feeling like a larger community. So if there's a way for people all over the world to share stories about how they're surviving this strangeness that we're all living through, then people just feel like they're not alone. I mean, when you're in your house for a really long time by yourself, you feel quite alone. So to reach out to the entire world and see that everyone is living the same way, you feel part of a community, which is what everybody wants to feel anyway. So by having the Facebook page Humans of Brant connected to the bigger story platform, hopefully we can generate the interest here. So we've initiated things like getting signs, like hijacking signs all over the city. And I made a whole bunch of rocks. So, so the rocks are going to be out, and they have a QR code on the back, which links to the Humans of Brant Facebook page. So hopefully that will inspire people that we maybe don't reach. Maybe they're not active on Facebook very often, but they look at this and they think, oh, wow, that sounds really interesting. So it's just another way to reach. And if you're driving around the city and you see something that says Humans of Brant on a sign, you'd be like, what is that all about? And start asking questions. And then if you see like lots of signs, lots of places, you'll feel like everybody's on the same page. So we're really hoping that the community will also step up with some signs that we can hijack.
Yeah, you can even like chalk a question in front of your house as well. So like it doesn't have to be, low, it can be like rock and chalk, low tech in terms of getting people to think about what it means to, be together, even though we can't be together physically. But
And certainly there's going to be common themes, like many people maybe maybe feeling a little bit embarrassed about what they're feeling during this, or ashamed, and realizing in hearing someone else's story, it might normalize a little bit about what we're feeling as well.
Right. And the flip side of that too is if you've been doing something really cool, if you're by yourself, it's really hard to get excited about it. But once you start sharing it, you can see that other people can appreciate and share your excitement and say, oh yeah, hey, I tried that too. And so our questions are, there's 5 questions. The last one is there anything you'd like to share? And so they're just super, super simple questions. What have you learned about yourself? What has been the hardest thing about physically distancing? If you could pick one thing that you will continue after isolation is over, what would it be? And what has been your favorite isolation activity? So there's super simple questions. And then the response can be 1 sentence, or you could write your own story, like if there's something that really clicks with what your experience has been.
Have you had anyone share their stories yet? Is there any common themes that you're seeing, or anything that you weren't expecting to see?
I think they're sharing more local on the Humans of Brant page currently rather than posting to the story platform. But once we get a bigger following on the Facebook page, I feel like we can inspire more interaction with the story platform. Currently, there's really simple answers, but things like, you know, what's one thing you're going to miss? And one lady said napping. And there's a lot of talk about how people are enjoying working from home and they don't want to return to work and things like that. It's just
someone was sharing about, you know, a lot of us are starting to garden. Maybe we haven't gardened before, so they're, you know, they're trying new things. So I read, yeah, someone was talking about gardening, and other people, I had a conversation with a group of people using the questions, and really the not being able to physically touch people and get a hug. I was talking with a gentleman last night, and he had lost his wife a few years ago, and this has really brought home his aloneness to him. And he said, he's aching for a hug, you know, and we were, you know, close by, but we still can't, you know, he's over there, I can't do that. And so that's really hard. So I think that the physical contact, and not, even though you can talk to a friend, you can't go and be with them in the same way. So those are the stories of loneliness. But then hearing about creative ways that people have used Zoom technology and FaceTime and all those kinds of things to do games night. Someone was talking about having a regular set Sunday afternoon family time. That's really what's kind of getting them through that contact, and that they haven't really spent that much time as a family together before. So all of a sudden, family and friends, we realize how important they are to us, and we want to remember that for when this is over.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of people are now baking and gardening and doing things that are sort of a forced slowdown. And certainly there are good things that can come out of taking the time to just maybe breathe and do something as a family, or even do something on your own to develop a skill, or if you actually have time now to learn something as well.
Yeah. I was hearing somebody else describe this as the great pause, and you know, and that forced slowdown. And some of us are just trying to figure out how to be again, and how cool that is, and how will we take that forward. And others of us have needed to do, and other people are trying to figure out how to become something new. And so, and that's okay to have those 3 categories, and how do we intermix with each other, and maybe we're a little bit of all 3 of them within ourselves. But yeah, just kind of, it's a neat opportunity to learn about ourselves, as hard as it, you know, I've been saying I wouldn't wish this on us again, but I also am hesitant for it to be over too soon before we've learned the lessons that there were to learn during COVID.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think a lot of things are going to look very different as we emerge from this.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is healthy.
Yeah, me too.
So if someone wants to get involved in this, what do they do?
Well, they can check us out on, they can start by checking out the Facebook page or the Instagram page, and you'll find all of the questions that Sylvia talked about there. They're posted individually. You'll see a flyer there, and they can comment. They can reach out to us, message us. If they've got a story they want to tell and they want a picture of them, or just maybe the garden that they've been growing, and to tell that story, then we will write a broader story with them. So we have some very gifted storytellers in our midst that will help people to craft that. That might feel overwhelming for somebody, but we have people to guide you and can do a little interview and help write it up and make sure you feel good about it. We'd love to be able to share those, and then take it from our social media platforms and share that again to that international story platform, to be part of that broader collection of learning. So, and you can look for the rocks and check out the signs, which will have questions on them to sort of inspire you and get you thinking. So those same questions.
I think it's a wonderful initiative. Yeah. Go ahead, Sylvia.
It's hashtag TogetherApart or hashtag TogetherApart Brant.
Excellent. So thank you so much for joining me today. And to our viewers, I hope that people are able to go to your Facebook page or find a rock and answer the questions, and contact you if they feel a little bit overwhelmed about actually forming that story on their own. That's wonderful that you have people that can bring that story out, because it's definitely another way to unite together as well in this time of being physically distant. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Great. Thanks for having us. Bye. Bye, Sylvia.